Welcome back to the LCS Countdown. In the spirit of Mid Lane Monday on Sunday, we assigned Hi, Mark, and Kobe the job of breaking down the intricate mechanics of a mid lane 1v1 to find out what separates
Hello, Hi, Mark, and Kobe.
What? Ah! What in the
It took over the screen!
What's
What is
going
it?
on?
Ow! It's infecting the entire studio. You get out of here.
Is that his face, actually?
Welcome back to America's
looks
number
like-
one league esports stats competition,
The number one
Jatt
league?
Stats. I was informed I can come off as impersonal, so I have adapted by adding eyes that you can look into.
I don't want to look
hear
into those
humans
eyes.
Okay,
like
less
that.
creepy
creepy,
eyes.
Those eyes are creeping the hell out of me.
Jatt. I'm pretty sure they're just Jatt's eyes.
Jatt's got creepy eyes.
In keeping with your theme, all of today's questions will be focused on the mid lane. Since we started tracking the stat in 2014 spring, which LCS mid laner has the most solo kills in regular season and playoff games?
Which LCS mid lane?
2014, pretty long time. So Bjergsen jumps out
Just
because
like total
Most solo
absolute kills.
most solo kills.
Yeah.
So Bjergsen's been playing a ton and has been on the top for a long period of time.
Is that just-
Jensen
is
has
that
been
just
around
him?
for a bit.
Jensen.
Pobelter's been around.
Pobelter's
for a
been
bit.
around for a minute.
When
so
did Jensen
between
come
those three.
over?
2015.
Jensen was
They missed the
2015.
full
So he's
year.
missing a year.
Yeah, but
Full
he
year.
led the league by like 50 kills
he had
that
some
one split.
insane
Final answer,
kills.
Bjergsen for me.
Jensen.
I'm gonna go Jensen. I'm with Mark on this one.
All right, I'll go Jensen too.
The correct answer is TS and Bjergsen.
It
Yeah,
was
because
close.
he missed a year. Yeah.
Yeah, it was close. Eh.
Wait, I wonder how many times he's solo killed me.
fallacy
Yeah.
of following Mark.
Don't listen to me.
I'm gonna say
How
0.
many times are you gonna do it?
Never listen to Mark.
Mid laners kill a lot of people, but they also kill a lot of minions. Which LCS mid laner has the highest CS per minute in regular season and playoff games? Hint: this player is actively playing now.
We got a hint.
Okay,
Oh,
so
it's one of the 10 guys.
I bet it's a bait
in the LCS
and it's
right now.
Froggen, and he hasn't played in the playoffs.
In regular season and playoff.
It's including both, but the playoff games don't matter.
But right, if you've never played playoff games, the stat still persists.
I don't know
right?
if that's true.
My
I'm just trying to read.
Highest CS. per
My answer
minute.
is Phoenix, because that
He's
guy
really
historically
good.
is really good at CS.
Yeah.
And,
You
like,
think he just
he
farms like a
just doesn't miss
monster?
the CS,
Yeah.
which is a common mistake.
Phoenix
to
is
have.
almost for
It might be a trick question.
Well,
I'm
now-
gonna go Bjergsen in case
I'm gonna
it's a trick.
it's just say that. I'm gonna go with high because I went with Mark last time.
Oh, I was going to do
Failed.
Phoenix
Yeah.
as well because
No!
he led the league.
Wait, no!
He was first in the
You
world.
must pick
He had
somebody
the
else.
highest CS per minute in the
Final
world.
answer!
I demand a different answer.
The correct answer is Power of Evil.
Wow. Well, we're all wrong. I don't care as much anymore.
Yeah, he hasn't played very many games here. Whatever.
Wow, really? Wait, it's over 10 a minute.
Well, he
That's
eats
pretty-
the Raptor camp a lot.
Pretty sweet for a career average.
Yeah.
Since you humans are having this nonsense mid lane Monday when it is actually Sunday, what LCS mid laner most recently won on a Monday?
What? When were there games on Monday?
It was a tournament.
Well, no, but didn't we have the day
Was
where we
Worlds
pushed
on a
games
Monday?
Oh,
to-
the tiebreakers.
The
were on
tiebreakers.
Monday.
Didn't we push those to
Yeah,
Monday?
we had tiebreakers on
So
Monday.
I don't remember which teams
Wait,
were
was
tied.
Worlds on Monday though? Because one of the LCS mids could have won on a Monday at Worlds.
Usually Mondays are.
Then it'd be Jensen.
I think it was the tiebreaker
It
day.
was the tiebreakers. Do you remember who was the tie? I don't even remember.
Was was 100 Thieves there? Or was it the other 4 teams?
I'm gonna go with Jensen.
Mine is
Cloud9
Jensen 'cause
probably
I know
won.
nothing.
Oh, no, they weren't in
Oh,
tiebreaker.
tiebreak.
Ryu wasn't in there because 100 Thieves won outright. They didn't need to tiebreak that, did
Can
they?
we get partial credit for for just knowing that it was the tiebreaker?
Phoenix.
The
Put an
correct
answer in.
answer is Jensen when Cloud9
Hey,
faced
wow!
Detonation
I said that
Focus
already.
Group.
It wasn't Worlds.
Monday,
That's right.
October
It was
1st during the
Worlds.
2018 Worlds
Do I
playing
get like an
stage.
assist?
That
I didn't get it
didn't
right.
focus
but-
me. Oh man.
Can I get an
that's
assist for
brutal.
helping?
Yeah, you definitely did help, because I had no idea the answer to that question.
And I love how. Oh.
That does it for this iteration of Jatt Stats. I feel closer to you in a way that I haven't before.
Yeah, I feel grossed out.
I'm sure you
I haven't
value this
before, but
relationship
it's kinda
greatly,
weird. Yeah, it's all the same,
which
I
is
guess.
nice. Let's move on to predictions. Go Dash.
What, are you running
this
the
is
show
your
now?
cue.
You heard him.
What is that? You don't tell me when to speak. I tell me when to speak. Well, rather, the producers tell me when to speak. Let's see where you're placing your bets as we
We're all
look at
over
your
the place.
predictions today. You are all over the place, gentlemen.
Nice.
We've got Kobe still behind clutch in that first game of the day.
I invested 12 of my LCS stocks.
Dude, I gave up. I
You
picked
are.
Golden Guardians. I was like, 100 Thieves not winning this.
Kobe
Get
is
me
going
out.
to be bankrupt soon enough. We've got 100 Thieves call out from the stats bot. Very intriguing against Golden Guardians. And then the only person to put their faith in TSM is high in that third game of the day. I love the fact that
put
there's some
Optic, too.
discrepancies in today's predictions. Once again, though, we are bringing back the weekly wager today. So let's see what game will take center stage.
Oh, don't tell me it's the TSM one.
It's going to be the TSM one, dude.
Oh, please.
You're going against Jatt?
Oh, please.
It's the biggest game of the day.
Baby. TSM. All right, gentlemen, as we know which game we're playing for, let's talk about punishments. The loser has to turn over his Twitter for the rest of the show to the other analysts. Not like this. I don't know why they're bringing this up. Freak clearly tweeted that himself earlier today.
That's a good picture of you.
It's a great picture.
It's just, I guess, a reference
very
for what it would
kind
look
of-
like.
Yeah, that must be what
Because
it
he
was.
posted it himself. That's why it's
no
a good
way.
picture.
Freak clearly did that of his own volition.
Yeah.
Not very convincing.
I'm just going to tweet weird stuff from people's Twitters.
Do it, man. Well, you gotta win
you have to
first.
win first.
Bad takes.
Means-
I'm gonna tweet about BTS being bad so their army attacks people.
That's
I have personal experience with
dangerous.
that. I don't recommend that. I got attacked for quite a long time and still get attacked occasionally.
Yeah.
Their music is fine, guys. I'm sorry for what I said.
So we got the 2 votes for Cloud9 over here and the vote for TSM here. So
Me and
either
Mark are
way,
always together on these
somebody's
bets.
handing over their Twitter accounts and I get to play along just for the fun of it. Got an idea for a reward, or let's be real, a punishment that you'd like to see these guys endure on our weekly wager? Go ahead and send your thoughts and ideas our way at LOL Esports with the hashtag LCS. Ahead of his match, though, in about 3 minutes, Scrag had this to say about the team's current mindset.
The morale obviously took a hit, but it wasn't that bad. Like, we're still very determined. We have to pretty much win every single game from here on out to make playoffs, but, you know, everyone's, like, got their head in the game, and, you know, we're trying to work together as a team. This is a good matchup for us. I think stylistically we match up really well versus Echo Fox. We showed that the first time in the first round robin, and this time I think it'll be pretty much more of the same. Like, we're just a more aggressive team. I think we're just stronger in lane phase for the most part, and I think our team fighting is better as well, and I think our draft will be better. So I'm pretty confident today for sure.
Sounding good. I already bought in, so...
Kobe's like, I'm on that train.
Let's hear it.
I mean, talk about the mental game. Interesting. I mean, glad to see a coach talking up his team, but that's a tough loss to stomach when you're near perfect gaming a team and then they reverse it on you to take the victory. That's got to hurt.
You would think so. I would think so. But there is still that kind of other lens you could look through where it's like, hey, we were perfect gaming a team. Like,
Right.
we were
Until we
killing it.
didn't,
Until,
right?
and to be fair,
Just
those
ignore
were
that part.
individual mistakes too, for the most part. Piglet
Right.
really kind of, when he died mid lane, started a horrible
You never know.
avalanche.
Maybe someone told him to 1v3 them really
Yeah,
quick,
maybe.
right? Maybe someone just like told him, hey, Piglet, can you kill these guys really quick for us?
Piglet was the first domino, but then you also gotta look at the shot calling and the team that after one person dies, all funneling in. They're like, you know what?
one
Give
by
them
one,
every
they-
single bounty and still the Baron.
But hey, you could look at the optimistic lens
Yeah.
where it's, we were perfect gaming
Mark
a team.
Ever the Optimist, as we know him. Of course, you heard McScrag say it. They pretty much got to win out the rest of the split if they have any chance at playoffs. So we'll see if they can start that run here. With that, we're tossing out to the Battle Arena for the call.
Thank you very much, Dash. Welcome to the Battle Arena. Clutch Gaming and Echo Fox about to hit the stage. I am Freak. Azael is to my right. It is his time to shine. Hoonies as well.
That's true. It's definitely a big one for Clutch, but also for Echo Fox, who suffered their first 0-2 week last weekend. They have subbed in Panda, who had, I think it's fair to say, a strong debut yesterday against TSM, and Echo Fox certainly trying to continually pick up wins.
Yeah, and it's certainly a possibility for both these teams to keep on moving upwards. Echo Fox need to keep the 1-1 streak that did lose out recently. Maybe they can bring this one back here for this one. Solo, I think, was still pretty solid last time around, and Panda, I thought, had a good debut. So both these teams, of course, can look very, very good. Clutch Gaming, as we heard the analysts talk about, so close to perfect gaming an opponent and kind of starting that rise back on up the standings. Playoffs still in reach, but you are running out of games. There are 7 games left in the regular season, counting this one. And they got to get themselves ready. As the audience is ready, we are too, and Zoe is not.
Yeah, Zoe going to be taken off the table here against Phoenix. Not too surprising. He has been a monster on the champion. Even when it's not showing up in the kills, he has consistently been able to poke people out, secure them neutral objectives through that play, and we were able to see that even yesterday.
So as the Sejuani is off as well, we're going to wait to find out what strategies the teams want to bring out. Clutch Gaming, I do hope for their sake that they still feel comfortable, they feel confident. They knew they had a very, very good game yesterday against one of the weaker teams, but still a good one for a while. And if you put that last 5 minutes out of your mind, you figure maybe these guys are on the way back up, and Piglet can still feel comfortable. No Thresh for Hakuho, that's not much of a surprise. No Silas for the Huni Demonte Flex.
Yeah, and we did see Clutch have a very good early game yesterday. As you're saying, you know, they were up 7-8K against 100 Thieves, but it was much more what they did with the lead that was concerning for people. You know, they weren't able to actually secure Baron Vision. They never actually even attempted the Baron, went ahead for a good 10-12 minutes, then completely ended up throwing away that lead. So we have seen what Clutch can look like when they are at their best, and it is an aggressive team, a very proactive team when these guys are on. We'll see if they can get back to that and be able to clean up their late game a bit. And I think Huni getting the Cassio pick here is going to be really big for him. This is, I believe, his actual best champion right now. He has been very successful on it, both in stage as well as his highest win rate in solo queue. Does really like to play it a lot, and it's a strong matchup into almost every top laner in a 1v1.
And she's honestly a really strong champion overall. It was interesting because when she got nerfed a couple patches ago, her presence only went down from like 100% to like 70. And then this patch, she's like almost disappeared entirely from pro play, which felt a little surprising and good to see her back in. I think she's still a very, very strong mage overall. And as you're mentioning, I think a Huni special at this point.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be a result of some of the champions that are rising up can be considered tough for her. You know, if people are worried about some of the Conqueror champions that are getting buffed up, you know, that could be a concern. But Galio, Jarvan coming through, very likely going to have this be Galio support. That is where it is almost always going these days. And for the Jarvan, this could be top or jungle. We have been seeing it in other regions, in top lane quite a bit. Boypo bringing it out recently in the LEC. But in North America, it has primarily been a jungler still.
Absolutely. Well, we'll wait to see what they want to do. The flexibility is always nice. It's one of the benefits of Red Side is that you can wait at the very, very, very end and move all of them around. So as long as they don't show their hand too heavily, they can always try to find themselves a good matchup. Still wait to see. Alistar has been locked in. Not a huge surprise there. It's been absolutely one of Vulcan's most played. This will be game number 5 on Alistar for him.
And he has had some highlight plays on it. The Aurelia, I think, is
like
a great pick for Clutch, especially because we know that Piglet can play it. In their last win, he did in fact play it against Golden Guardians, was a monster in that game, so this could be flexed in multiple lanes. And while I was saying that Huni is likely going to be playing the Cassio, that too is a triple flex, especially for this team that has a bottom laner who can play the mages. So really hard to know exactly where these are going. And if you can create a blue side draft, where the red side cannot actually tell what lanes the champions are going in, you lose a lot of the red side advantage, which is generally considered those counter picks.
And also worth noting here, as we look through this draft, this is one of the very, very rare games where Lucian is not on the draft at all. Apollo wanted Ezreal over anything else. Piglet could, of course, still flex with the Aurelia grabbed up. I think it's pretty likely Echo Fox don't ban any more bot laners, as they can reliably predict Piglet may play that. But it means it's still an opportunity later on in the draft if Clutch want to pivot down the line and play 3 big squishy carries.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible to just grab the Lucian and put Aurelia and Cassio in the solo lanes. I think that would be very feasible. But it does depend, I think, a lot on what these next picks are and the next bans are coming out, because if Echo Fox shows a matchup that they think that they can actually exploit, that might be reasonable. I do think that Galio is one of those exploitable supports, though, honestly, and Lucian may be the sort of champion to do that. Lucian plus the Alistar could play pretty aggressively, look to actually attack that Galio. Yes, the Ezreal is hard to get onto, but
you can poke Galio off.
Galio, exactly, can be pushed out.
Oh, and you can see right here, Echo Fox only put their bans onto the junglers. They're happy with the Jarvan or maybe their first pick. Keep in mind, we are seeing Rek'Sai still available. And what the Jarvan does also is Clutch don't want to ban junglers because Jarvan's up. But if they want to push the Jarvan top lane, then you get Rek'Sai, who I think is queen of the jungle right now. And they get that champion anyway. It's not going to be the look. They're looking at Syndra right now for the mid lane for Phoenix. And that looks increasingly like that support Galio and Jarvan jungle you were talking about.
It's very interesting. These bans to me also feel like they're protecting the Cassio, which makes me feel like Damonte may be actually taking that Cassio, because both LeBlanc as well as the Orianna tend to be pretty tough matchups for her there.
Yeah.
Yasuo would be exciting, and again,
triple flex.
This is triple flex. This is 3 picks where you don't know where they are going. The Gragas plus the Alistar both going to provide knockups for the Yasuo. I think this is actually a really strong draft that Clutch have pulled out, but we'll have to see if they can actually execute on it, because it does feel like one that needs to be aggressive. You needs to be ahead, since you don't really have a lot of sieging potential, as you have no traditional marksman. Cassio is fairly short range with the auto attacks. That becomes difficult, and if you get behind, could look ugly. But this is so weird to me that you're picking the Yorick when Huni could flex Yasuo top, which is the biggest Yorick counter.
Right, stack rank your 3 matchups. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, what is Yorick, Aurelia, and Cassiopeia into, or Yasuo, Cassio, and Aurelia into Yorick?
I mean, they're all kind of bad matchups. I think Cassio is probably the most feasible matchup. I think you are going to get bullied early, but if you can get to a cowl and start working on your Triforce, you can actually cage up the Cassio, and because she's relatively low mobility, if you hit that, you can win a 1v1. Yasuo, you essentially lose at all stages. Generally, Yorick has the most trouble with champions who can ignore the cage and are very mobile, hard to hit with your E, because if you cannot hit that, your ghouls will not go on them. Yasuo can dodge in and out of your cage, can use the E on the ghouls to kill them as well. Aurelia likewise with the Q dashing around.
Yep.
So it's interesting that that is how they've allocated the champions, but to me this speaks to the comfort level that these guys have on the champions more than specifically in the matchups.
That's what it feels like as well, because I agree with you. The Yasuo matchup should be so good, and yet it's not what's being played right here. Of course, we had the Clutch members on cooldown a couple weeks ago, and Damonte was the better Yasuo. So,
but
you know,
he's
that's
also saying that he's not a good Yasuo, and he's like, I don't play Yasuo, I don't know.
Well, it brings it out here after all the bans and picks come through, and he's ready to play this champion yet again anyway. But gonna be a fun one. No marksman here on the Clutch Gaming lineup. Cassiopeia, Yasuo, and Aurelia all dealing damage. Bot lane Aurelia here for Piglet with an Alistar and a Gragas to set up with a knock-up CC to set up the Yasuo. Damonte is in a position to pop off in this game. And he got the counter pick into Syndra when doing so. That was a blind Syndra, put the Yasuo in afterwards. Gonna be an exciting game to watch for. Clutch Gaming Echo Fox on the Rift here for game 1 of the day. Let's see who can do it.
Yeah, I am so excited for this one. As you say, Damonte had the answering pick. He has actually elected to go Footwork Yasuo, which I cannot remember the last time I saw this. It does make sense if you feel that you're going to be bullied early, taking a melee champion with that, similar to how people used it on Kassadin or Akali to sustain through some of these early matchups that they feel they're going to win later on. But that being said, Conqueror has been so strong for so long on Yasuo that you almost exclusively see that keystone. So Damonte definitely taking a more defensive approach, going Exhaust, taking Fleet, just trying to survive the early game. And I'm going to be really interested to track how that top lane goes, because if Cassio is left alone in isolation and is consistently hitting those Qs, you can certainly bully the Yorick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Cassio generally has to push to really bully out the champions, and then you're exposing yourself to the J4 plus Yorick combo. And if you're able to kill off that Cassio, get the Yorick ahead, some pushing could look pretty good for the team.
Definitely could. I just keep thinking about how the champions interact as well. There's nothing that Cassiopeia can do that really stops the crowd control or movement of either Solo or Panda. It can stop the Jarvan ult, but you can still EQ through it, so you can't even stymie the Flag and Drag in the early levels, and you can certainly, I think, find some ganks here. We'll see what happens. Lyra going to be, looks like soloing red buff. Is going to be a little bit slow for poor Gragas. Not a ton of physical damage in this champion.
And unfortunately for him, he was spotted out by that ward that was dropped on Raptor, so they did actually know, I believe, that he walked by. And
yeah,
did spot that out. So, you know, trying to have a bit more of a sneaky path, perhaps. You know, not actually getting a leash, but is going to be spotted. And you can see Panda is a lot faster on the clear. He's already working on the Krugs, while Lyra is still on his first camp and is going to be a bit behind the pace.
Yep, you can see, of course, the little ones all been split apart now, and next time Panda has a cooldown, you can knock down a bunch of these. Oh, there's the auto attacks, easy, clear on that camp and on the Raptor. So yeah, definitely a pacing advantage here for the Jarvan. We'll see how that pays off over time. For now, this Jarvan is out of mana. That can be a concern at a certain point if you can't get the blue buff or kill a Scuttle Crab to get your mana pool back up. And with that push, actually, he's not going to get spotted. That pressure by Phoenix allows him to take a much faster path for the bottom Scuttle. There is a ward, though.
Yeah, and this is actually pretty nice. So the ward does time out. He's on the Scuttle. You know, and he may be able to set himself up for potentially a double Scuttle. We'll see if they actually want to try to backtrack over and go for that. But it looks like he will just be going for the blue buff.
Yeah.
As Huni has the push, despite the fact that Phoenix was shoving there, just going to stay on that side of the map. And it is a riskier path if you kind of path back to topside and you can't get that Scuttle, then certainly you're putting yourself behind.
It actually looks like he was spotted, though. I missed the Trinket ward right there. You can see the residue that Monte's standing over. That, I believe, would have spotted Solo coming through. Or, sorry, Panda coming through, if I remember correctly. Either way, Lyra gets the right call, gets topside Scuttle. They've taken, so far, pretty similar camps, and we're okay. As you're mentioning, Huni does have that push top lane. That's +8 CS now so far. Bot lane being pushed by the Ezreal and co. That's not much of a surprise, of course, at least early on. We'll see if that turns around later.
Yeah, you know, for this clutch bot lane, it's obviously much more about all-inning. Generally, as the marksman lane in these sort of melee matchups, you are pretty happy to farm and kind of try to keep them pushed in. You don't necessarily want to take the all-in fights, and for Relly and Alistar, that's more what it's about. It's about setting up for either LCR to come down with a Predator gank or just winning an all-in 2v2 yourselves. And they do have Ignite plus Cleanse for any potential taunt that could come through to peel off Piglet, so we'll see if they're able to find anything later on.
And right now it's +4 CS for Apollo. That's how much CS has been dropped by Piglet as the pushes have come through, as that lane had reset. So a moderate to small lead for the Ezreal. So far, Piglet's done a decent job of dodging Qs with Kleptomancy as well. LCR realizes, oh, the Raptors are gone. That's a bit unlucky, is down a camp and has to take the recall.
Yep, so pretty slow early stages here. No one doing too much, but Panda is going to be up a camp off that. Going to be feeling pretty good about it, and we'll see how well Huni can actually dodge the E's here, because that is really what so much of this matchup is about, hitting the Morning Mist with Yorick. When you summon the ghouls, you hit that gets so much damage down on the Cassio.
And we can even see that this Jarvan is heading topside. Might be just for the Krugs, he's pinging it now, but the possibility of a gank is certainly here. He's within arm's reach.
Definitely could be looking for that. And then for Huni, it's a lot about actually being able to hit your Q, get the movement speed from that, proc your phase rush, try to dodge out on the Morning Mist, try to dodge out on the Flag and Drag, and that's kind of how you survive those sorts of plays. But certainly mana can be a pretty big issue for Cassio in the early stages before you grab your Lost Chapter or your Tier, or even your Catalyst, depending on what you're trying to go for here.
Finds the stun, but that's a nice defensive taunt. Hakuo can actually bring in the Irelia for a bit. Single auto attack comes through, thanks for the 5 gold. No harm, no foul here, but now Vulcan knows that with the W and Aftershock down, it's pretty easy to go for an aggressive play, so Fox having to sit back a little bit. Piglet, ooh, doesn't get the Q reset, so he's actually much lower on power right now, and also out of mana, might have to recall right here.
Yep, but going to be feeling pretty good, I think, about how those early stages are going. I do think for Clutch, it could be pretty difficult to actually get onto Apollo if you're getting to those later game stages. Ezreal is, I think, the safest marksman, it's fair to say, especially when you do have your double tier build completed. You have the Seraph Shield. Going things like an Iceborne would be incredibly effective against all these low range and melee champions who want to try to get on top of you. So Apollo will become very difficult to assail in the later stages, and we'll see if Clutch can really kind of turn up the pace more than they did yesterday to stop them from getting there.
Yeah, I think that only changes if there's some kind of like Flash Ragus Girl into Yasuo getting in for free. And okay,
one shot.
Right, maybe you can't dodge the barrel, but unless Demonte can one-shot you from 90% health, that seems unlikely through an Iceborne Gauntlet build.
Yeah, and also there's exhaust on the Galio, right? This is not Ignite. He is playing it fairly defensive, knowing that it's going to be about that dive. He is going to have Peel with the Justice Punch as well as his taunt and his ultimate. So certainly there are opportunities on both sides, but I really do feel like if you're on the side of Clutch, you probably want to be playing it a little bit more aggressive, unless they're happy going into something like a 1-3-1 later on, where you put the Irelia and the Yasuo in the side lanes, and you just try to play out the game like that.
We see the first couple of recalls come through as Hakuho, as Boots' speed comes and takes the top side Scryer's Bloom, but doesn't do much for that. There was no play to be had, and he's not level 6 anyway, so diving in is going to be a bit difficult. With the little bit of extra time that was given over, Piglet was able to grab his Sheen, come back to lane, has not dropped too much farm, and the Ezreal so far is staying safe. Is now Panda heading back to bot side. Have yet to see any ganks in any of these lanes. Top lane, though, back to equal on farm. So Huni is not bullying this out, and the Yorick is feeling pretty safe. Jungler's pretty equal. Mid lane, slight lead for Phoenix, and the overall game is Echo Fox ahead, Kleptomancy being a small part of that.
And I think for solo, you don't really want to go anywhere beyond the cowl. I think completing full adaptive or spirit message is, says they're going in on Panda.
Nice headbutt, puts him back over, but guess what? Back across the wall, and Panda is safe. So looks like a trade of flash for flash, but Vulcan with the Hextech flash traption probably feels okay with that trade.
Yeah, generally for a support, you're happy to actually trade that out, because this is going to make your solos feel a lot more safe, knowing that it's a flashless jungler here. And Alistar is going to be 6 very soon. It's pretty hard to actually punish for this, so we'll see, as they are threatening a bit of an invade, but Panda is 6, LCR is 6 here as well. LCR does have flash.
Yeah, potentially a play to be had right here. Control War does keep Echo Fox fairly safe in this invade, but we're going to see quite a bit of a scuffle here. Apollo can at least earn gold with Q spam as time goes on. Blue resets the first time. Syndra here as well. Ults up on almost everyone. Only Alistar is missing it. And the top laners waiting around the top side, but they have teleports as well if needed. So a 4v4 for this, but Clutch Gaming realized, no, they're going to run out of resources. Out they go. They're going to give over the control. and that should be Phoenix grabbing this blue buff without any issues, and back to the mid lane he goes.
Yeah, and they are going to be able to grab that. So well responded to by Echo Fox. Situation diffuses there. Not too much really lost on either side. I do like this from Huni, taking the opportunity when you have the push to always get something done with that time. Go and get a deep ward. Go and threaten a roam. You know, take a scuttle. Do something to be taking resources away from your opponent. And now that Solo is 6, we're going to have to see Cassio being a lot more careful, but...
Bit of a fight. Ult comes into Hako, gets the first Q reset, slowed down, but there's no follow through as Apollo got away from that one.
Yeah, it was good flash from Apollo, actually, flashing out on the ulti, and you can see how this can be a bit of a rough matchup for Huni getting very low there, and I think Solo could have actually followed in to try to get more done, but Lyra showed to actually defend him, so... yeah, we'll see if Lyra wants to come back up. Panda has been spotted, but Solo is without his ultimate now, as Huni did kill that off, so you know that is a pretty decent trade. Ultimate for ultimate there.
I don't know if he got spotted for that there.
I don't think he did.
They're not going to try to clear him out. There's the spot right there, turns on the trample, gets knocked right back up though, and that's pretty decent damage. Aftershock never triggered by the Alistar, so does get some health down. Either way.
I think he wanted to save his combo for the Ezreal potentially, but
yeah,
it wasn't going to work out, so he's just accepting that it'll take a little bit of damage. He can use a trample to kind of heal back up as they kill off these minion waves, so not too much of a deal. And Damonte's coming down. They know this is a flashless Apollo. They could try this.
And no Aftershock on Hako. Could be decent damage. Taunts in, gets the aggro pulled over, headbutting back around though, and now Vulcan is going to tank up, and Piglet dropped down to 500 HP. That was a nice taunt by Hako to turn off that dive.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, you can see, to actually get up onto Apollo while trying to run through Hako playing this Galio. It's just such a defensive champion. It really does have a lot of ways to keep the Ezreal safe. He is your target. It's often a lot easier to actually attack the Galio himself, but that still can be difficult.
Now Panda knows he's safe going towards the mid lane. Damonte has flash to answer some of these plays. Panda does not, but you're kind of seeing the attempts here. Galio's nearby. He could ult to join in on the dive. It's just based on how well he can dodge away from things. And now Lyra spotted out by the Scryer's Bloom, but gonna grab these chickens no problem, and there will not be a dive in the mid lane.
We'll be able to hang on for now. I think the next real kind of point of contention may simply be this mountain. I do think that that can be pretty big, especially for Clutch, who are going to be looking for ways to actually assault those neutral objectives. Baron is really where their game stalled out yesterday, and I think when you have a team with Cassio, you want to be able to threaten going for that Baron. The Mountain Dragon is going to help you do that quite a bit more, and generally speaking, a lot of these champions, such as the Yasuo and the Aurelia, can be fairly effective at the early stages once their ultimates are unlocked. So they are setting up for this and looking like they're going to try it.
Okay, setting up on this Drake, and the wards are okay-ish for Clutch. It's certainly dark right now. One ward goes out, turned off again, though, and Echo Fox don't have to walk through Fog of War to do much of this, and they are really unwilling to fight this one out. Even Panda running back up to the top set to go for his own chicken, so this will be a pretty easy pickup on this Mountain Drake, and though the gold is not in Clutch Gaming's favor, they're in fact down a full 1,000. They get the Mountain Drake, which might mean turret kills or even a Baron kill later on.
Yeah, I think it's a good move from Clutch, and also probably pretty intelligent for Echo Fox. When you already don't have the vision, face checking into the Gragas, the Alistar, all these champions certainly is exceptionally dangerous. You can easily get comboed down. They don't have any pure tank, really. Okay,
next one's gonna be a knock-up. Not gonna go for this one, only the wave clear, and we know Panda's nearby. Over the wall, gonna find a bit of damage. Does he force out the flash? Might have to. Damonte trying to run. Does have to go over the wall. Will there be a chase? Yes, Phoenix once his Q's gonna land. He's gonna have that. No, the wind wall blocks the entire ultimate, and there's no follow through. Tanner stays alive.
Phoenix just gets shut down by that wind wall. The passive coming back for Yasuo, the fleet footwork even getting a little bit of healing there. And that wind wall just barely keeping him alive. Looked like he was going to go down for sure.
That's a stun, though. He's going to go for some more attacks right there. 2v1 now inside the Cataclysm. Solo just running away. The ult's going to land, and it pulls Panda right back in. TP in for Apollo, but can he stop this? Not really. He's going to be out of lane now.
Yeah, Solo may have been able to have the 1v1, but Lyra showing up and not making it a fair fight, and Panda was not there in time. First blood going over on that Yorick for the Gragas. The wave also going to be under his turret, so Yorick going to be losing more farm. His ultimate is down off that play. His flash is down off that play. And he's going to be pretty vulnerable.
Suddenly, Huni's going to get ahead so we can watch this mid lane fight once again, and it was so close.
Yeah, it was very, very close. Well done by Damonte. He steps back through Panda, is able to E out and then flash over the wall, and there is the passive coming right back up. The passive actually absorbed one of those orbs, it looked like, or perhaps an auto attack before the wind wall came out, so just barely keeping him alive. And then Huni setting traps. If you've watched him play Cassio, you know he loves to do this, and with Lyra behind him to back him up, that's certainly a fight he could win, but I think that's a fight Solo wins if it's a pure 1v1, and Panda just wasn't there in time to actually back him up.
Good damage output, and Huni's going to feel pretty comfortable. Only the Merc treads the MR item of choice for Solo, so that cowl has not come through. Maybe that would have turned things around, but not the buy he went for.
Yeah, and I think it's totally reasonable, because something I wanted to talk about earlier is if you overinvest into magic resist against a team like this, then they certainly will just lane swap, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden you have an adaptive or a spirit visage and you're laning against a Yasuo and you're gonna get slammed. So it is a little bit difficult as far as the itemization goes in that regard for Yorick against a team like this who has 3 people who can potentially side lane versus you.
That's true. So it's always going to make things difficult. So it's Merc treads into offensive power so we can maybe take the duels later on.
Yeah, and you can do something like Asterix if you want a bit of defensive power there. You want the shielding because that is more universal, just building up the health. So we'll see if that's going to be his option or if he does eventually start going into some armor.
Okay, well, right now the wave being held up. Lyra's going to take a couple of melee minions, wait for the Yasuo to come back, stop a quick recall, and overall this game is still very close, 600 gold apart. That 600 gold partially paying for the Mountain Drake that Clutch Gaming has, and we've got a pretty tight one here. We know playoff positioning is on the line as time goes on. You run out of games to play. Echo Fox part of the clump. Clutch Gaming only one behind that position. With 7 to play, counting this one, each one matters a lot. And Clutch, of course, kicking themselves off the throw they had yesterday, but they could still claw some wins back in. There are still opponents to knock down if they can get the wins through.
Yeah, and the bright spot is that the playoff pack is not very far ahead, even of the last place team, right? It's one game up right now, and that is a multi-man tie. So certainly you will need more than just that one win, but you know, it's certainly attainable. And if teams can start to turn things around, if they can start to improve in these final weeks, anyone can really still make the playoffs. The questions do become, though, when you're looking at some of the teams that have had consistent problems throughout the whole split and do not seem to be able to fix them.
Orb stacked up, not going to find the slow into Damonte. Flag and drag, not quick to the knockup though, so suddenly it's a 2-on-2. Ult comes across to go right onto the Syndra. A good stopwatch on the ult is too much damage. Damonte falls and Phoenix looks pretty okay. A nice knockback gets the rest of Clutch back. Oh, what a good taunt finds Phoenix. Sorry finds Piglet, and this could be a lot more. A nice double stun coming up as well, and Vulcan is now running, but his health bar will drop very, very soon. That's to burn his flash as well. And it's simply that one kill picked up. Damonte could not push it through.
Yeah, really well played there by Echo Fox. You saw Phoenix not only waits out the wind wall, he waits out the exhaust, but meanwhile, in the top lane, Yorick getting solo killed here by Huni. Ahead off that first kill he got on him, and that is a rough one to give up. That's now no TP, and could be the turret going down here also.
There's going to be at least some damage on it, but we can watch the fight again. Just full HP at the start of it.
Yeah, and kind of walking through the miasma allows him to get a very easy first Q, and doesn't hit the E. He just kind of walked into him, allowed him to get his full combo out. You know, Yorick has to be able to hit the E to initiate the fight.
That's what I call morning mist, as he needed to land that skill shot. Zale would have done it. I didn't, you know.
No, I wouldn't.
I always knew you land those spells. That's why I didn't say it on cooldown.
I would definitely miss that.
No. Yeah, you're better than that. I trust you.
All right.
All right, either way, though, second turret's going to go down as well. You were right, Huni got first turret up there. He's massively ahead now, of course, already the 500 gold bounty. And now another kill. Oh, poor Panda. Oh, he's going to have to run away. They were afraid of Phoenix coming down and solo as well. And Huni is using the backup to not get caught, but he's got to be careful. Maybe not the intended play, but he's going to walk away. It's fine.
Yep, he will be okay. And if you've ever watched Huni's stream, and you watch him play Cassio, he loves to do these brush camping plays. This is something he does in and out every single game constantly. You have to be keeping eyes on him because he will go, he will sweep out a brush, or he will drop a pink, and he will just sit there and wait until someone shows up. Because if you're ahead on Cassio and you begin the fight with Miasma into a stun ult, you are getting so much damage out that they're often just dead before they can react whatsoever.
And you can see the kind of damage he's able to put out there. 100% KP, 0 deaths in one of the 2 turrets. He's doing great. And maybe Huni is back on form a little bit. He had a really good game yesterday as well. part of the reason they were doing so nicely. Still, again, that late game was rough, but...
And he is on 2 completed items already, right? That is a very big point in the game here for Huni. Already completing the fully stacked Seraphs, plus he has Leandry, so going to be having a fair bit of added tankiness in the build there too, with the health as well as that Seraph shield. And he's going to be difficult to take down, but Solo certainly can do it with help. I think the 1v1 is going to be tough from this far behind, but you know, he does have his Triforce, and Yorick is really strong at this point in the game.
Okay, Triforce is going to see what he can find for himself. Sadly, he's a full level down under Huni, and it's going to make things a bit hard. Actual gold-wise, it's a 1,800 gold difference. Good luck dealing with that one.
And he is now kind of laning against Aurelia, who is roaming down, essentially.
Oh, going to find the slow. Panda's going to flag and drag out again. Not stopped by Miasma there, but Huni's still on the chase. Burning one flash. Here comes Piglet. They're going to find one. A knock up for a second. The knock back. Aqua will still drop. And they're going for another one. Lyra knocks them right back in front of the turret. That's going to be the shutdown. 3 quick kills for Clutch Gaming.
Clutch is absolutely popping off. They're getting so many kills. Meanwhile, in the top lane, York will get an answering turret, but that was a bunch of kills, and potentially this tier 2 mid as well. As Apollo waited till after he got tagged by that Q to flash and just gets run down. So much damage. Piglet coming in from the side as well. Was really well executed there by Clutch, and that's the kind of play you want to see them make with this team.
Yep, Echo Fox counting their blessings that Baron hadn't spawned just yet, because you imagine a 5v2 on the map, they probably go for that play and they probably win it. We watch that fight again.
Yeah, here this is one more time. A flash ult there in from Huni, and then Apollo, you can see, gets tagged with the Q, then realizes, uh-oh, got a flash, but he's already way too low. 4-man ultimate coming through from Piglet. Demonte there to follow up as well. Then a great ulti here from Lyra, knocking Phoenix right back in. And Lyra also has been having a good game, has been in the right place at the right time, and on point with those ultimates so far.
Clutch Gaming starting to run away with this one. The gold lead a solid 3,000. And they're setting up around Baron. Now, this was where it got bad for them last time. They didn't do the objective setups well.
Exactly. We need to track that, because the eye test was fantastic for them yesterday. If you watched the first 20 minutes of the game, you could have just turned it off and then said, yeah, of course, they closed it out in the next 5-10 minutes. It was easy. They were up 8K. But from this point, they did not really properly set up vision. They did not understand what the next steps were to actually close out the game. And in this one, they certainly can look to play side lanes, but right now, Piglet's getting caught out.
Plan of this one, Hako's showing up as well. A stopwatch buys 2 seconds, but there is a cleanse, and he's almost gonna get out, and he does. Now here comes the re-engage. Hako finds the knockup. Solo in the middle of everyone, true to his name, and flashing over the wall, staying just barely alive. The Maiden will die. No kills either side. Out goes everyone.
Yeah, they're able to escape on both sides. Solo with that TP, certainly wishing he could cancel that one. As he TPs into the middle of the whole team, loses his ult, has to immediately flash out. Honestly lucky to survive, but a good job by Piglet actually buying enough time there to survive, using the cleanse, using the W to reduce the damage, as well as his stopwatch, which was huge.
Ghouls come over and knock down Demonte's shield, but looks like he's fine. And we still sit in this game at a 3,000 gold difference. It's certainly not insurmountable. 3K is within margins here where you've got a sizable chance of coming back in. And the difficulty is, though, can you get through a very teamfight heavy team? Maybe as Apollo scales up, dodging right through that wall. That is why you talk about the matchup early on in Champ Select, that you cannot cage the Yasuo. He wants to roam free. Hako almost stunned. Not quite, though. There's the knock, but they won't follow through on the tank.
And I do have my biggest concern really for Echo Fox is I think their team fighting is going to be strong, but Solo now, he's building towards a Spirit Visage, and then, well, Clutch just is going to send someone who does physical damage to a side lane against him. So I think he's really going to struggle to find a build that allows him to actually have success in a side lane where Yasuo should probably beat you anyway, and Clutch is just trying to rush down this Baron.
Panda has Flash Smite, though, so there's no huge pressure here. The taunt in the front line. Piglet does not land the ultimate. He's exhausted, though. That's on cooldown. And now they will kill off Hakuo. Stopwatch buys a few seconds, though. Look on the backside as well as Lyra's a little bit down. Panda staying alive with a stopwatch, but 1 for 0. Make it a second, and so far it's looking pretty good. Phoenix likely to drop as well. The Zonias will not buy him a lot. He's certainly going to drop a double kill for Piglet, and now next up on the order is Solo. Just get one at a time. It's going to be 4 kills in a row. Jumps through off the ghouls. Thanks for the resets, buddy. Going to knock that one down as well, and there's no chance. Apollo against the world. Clutch Gaming sure to get the Baron.
Yeah, Echo Fox is getting decimated in these fights. You could see Apollo getting completely zoned out by the wind wall. He was able to do almost nothing. in that one, and Clutch sure to get a pretty easy Baron here. Lyra has Smite available. It's up to a miracle
only
Q
Q.
here
Oh,
for
he's stunned.
Apollo.
Good arcane shift, but now there's no chance for a steal. Windwall comes up, easy pick up there. Lyra grabs it, and a massive lead now for Clutch Gaming.
Yeah, and they're able to do what they couldn't yesterday with an even bigger lead. So here it is one more time. They are on the Baron. We talked about the importance of the mountain, allowing them to even have an easier time bursting this down. And then Aqua and Apollo are over on Piglet. And then watch Apollo here, just gets completely kind of zoned out. The wind wall on the Ezreal ultimate, then he's stunned. He's still kind of strafing back and forth over by that wind wall, just now able to get some damage out, but the fight is already over, right? The marksman has been zoned out almost completely, and Clutch is able to win on the other side of that, taking down 4 members eventually.
Best they can do is get Vulcan a little bit low, but it means almost nothing. There's a quick Cloud Drake as well. 3 response so far this game, and this is now getting almost insurmountable. Waves are shoved in. It's time to pick out which lanes you want. Demonte's heading top side. You've got Aurelia up in the mid, and that Cassiopeia for Huni in the bottom.
I mean, York loses 1v1 to all 3 of the potential side laners right now. So how do you really answer this, right? You're not going to beat Huni. You're not going to beat Demonte or Piglet. So it has to be some sort of a hard engage, utilizing Galio and J4 to immediately pick someone off, then retreat and try to defend the inhibitor in another lane. But Clutch should be aware of this, and they need to just watch for that Jarvan. He is really the only threat, I feel, of any potential pickoff.
As long as they keep tabs, looks like it's going to be Clutch Gaming walking in for more of the base and more gold. The Baron power play. Oh, nice try on the ultimate. Not going to get too much, but still top lane turret will drop. And now Solo running forward is going to find a Jarvan. Here comes the rest of the squad. Huni flashing right away. Gets out a true shot as well. And now the trade kill back on a Panda 1 for 0. Huni in a 1 versus 3 gets 1.
Yeah, really well done there from Huni. And he's just so far ahead at this point in the game. 3 items, 10 stacks on his Darksteel. They're looking for Demonte. They know they need to try to force these engages.
Yeah.
Because Clutch doesn't have really good siege potential. If you can actually pick someone off, you can probably delay and maybe hold a turret, but Clutch is going to be looking for the dive here. Vulcan has flash ult. There is the body slam available and the flash available on Lyra, so they have some pretty powerful engage, and Xbox is just getting zoned out.
So far they're staying split up. Apollo needs to make sure he's outside of body slam flash range, because if it lands at all, he certainly or likely drops to the Yasuo. Bottom inhibitor's going to drop. Mid inhibitor turret down below half HP. Getting hit a little bit by the minions, and the respawn's coming through as Panda's back alive. And keep in mind, all this gold in the pockets is not items right now, so Clutch are not quite as rich as you might expect. The Baron buff still matters, though, and they're waiting around, keeping the other players honest. Next wave comes to the mid side. Only 1 ranged champion. A little bit of damage towards Huni, but he's fine. Auto attack's going to come through, and a second turret will be given up. Double inhibs will be down before the Baron times out, and there's still 30 seconds left. At some point, Echo Fox must try to find their stand, but it's likely at the Nexus turrets, or maybe the top inhibitor turret itself. Clutch Gaming take down 2 inhibs, no real fight to be had, and they are going to go for the reset.
Yeah, it's going to be a really rough road back for Echo Fox if there's any way they can do it. Down almost 9K now. And you can see a lot more items are going to be coming through here for Clutch, and Apollo doesn't even have his 2nd tier picked up, let alone starting to stack. And this is certainly, you know, the games we were watching yesterday, a lot of players were completing their 2nd tier stack around 28 minutes or around that sort of mark. So he's certainly very far off from that. And it's hard to kind of see a win condition other than Clutch just not really trying to finish the game. You know, Echo Fox doesn't really have anything going for them right now. They don't have the ability to win 5v5. They don't have the ability to win side lane. Their wave clear is not necessarily strong enough to actually hold out against 2 inhibitors down, so we'll see what they can do.
And if there's one thing Clutch lacks, it's certainly not aggression. This team, I think, is completely willing to dive you at 28 minutes under your Nexus turrets, and that might just happen, in fact, as they are setting up for the top side. The entire squad is at worst in mid lane, but mostly up to this side of this one. Good damage, though. Vulcan actually has to burn his own ultimate because of that chunk. That's a decent little play. That might buy a bit of space. A low health, no ult Alistar might really betray their attempts to push. Minute and a half on the Mountain Drake, a little bit longer than that on Baron. This might actually be what Clutch have to wait for.
Yeah.
Unless they're willing to push with a low health Alistar.
Yeah, I think we'll likely see them waiting for the next Mountain Dragon, going towards the Baron. You know, again, Cassio, probably one of the best champions in the game, if not the best champion in the game, at actually burning down the Baron. Kills it so incredibly fast, and there's a tremendous amount of extra damage in the kick here from the other members, too.
Monte's on the far side, and no one's near him, but they don't have the remaining crowd control. A couple of slows don't really do it.
Yeah, you need Jarvan Galio. That's really your only way to, I feel like, consistently get fully hard engaged onto someone. You know, otherwise it's just not going to do it. The Yasuo can so easily escape from a Yorick, utilizing the Ghoul and even the Cage for the dashes there, so you're never really going to be able to lock him down unless he makes a serious mistake of his own.
Well, he's getting pushed in, and Alistar has managed to recall back. With Mobius, he's back on the map and ready to go. With Baron buff gone, though, looks like they're happy to let the Ezreal and Syndra wave clear. Solo holds the mid, that's pretty easily. Maiden does magic damage, best I can tell, so you knock down those things pretty quickly with a % health magic damage against negative magic resist targets. Pretty quick there, and they're going to stay safe. Still, though, you've got 2 minutes on both these inhibitors. It's going to be still a while. These objectives will be up while the base is still under siege by NPCs.
Yep, and you can see they're going to be rushing down this Mountain Dragon immediately. Then you're sitting on double Mountain to be able to go and attack that Baron. Huni setting another one of his traps here. If anyone comes to try to check for the vision, he's going to be able to combo them down. So they've got to be really careful about how they're actually checking out these spots. But if they were able to find Huni and Vulcan, get some kills there, that could buy them some time or even access to the Baron Pit themselves.
They spot the Alistar, but he's going to walk away. Panda's not going to go for much of anything here. And the catch not all that strong from over the walls, so no freight trains here. Clutch Gaming's going to be okay to just let some of their wards drop. Still waiting for the next big play, though, as they know Baron's alive.
And you can see Solo's down in the bottom lane, so they're going in.
Flash pulverize, a little bit of damage, and Panda's going to lose the Guardian Angel. Now the engages Aqua's in the back line, looking at that play, but Apollo's already gone. Demante found that one. Phoenix forward, pops the Zonius. Huni does the same thing, though, and they're going to find 2. They get 3 kills already. 5v2, the chase is in. Panda's endangered. He's gone already. That's the ace. Clutch Gaming going to walk over this one. What they meant to do last game with the perfect one they threw away. This time, no comeback necessary. Clutch Gaming will join that club with 4 wins to end the week.
15-1 Clutch with an emphatic win here over Echo Fox. Very nicely done. And Echo Fox now back-to-back 0-2 weeks.
That is a slide for Echo Fox, but well, it shoots and ladders here. Clutch Gaming climbing up one here. A couple of decent wins in a row, and they were so close for it being a 3-1 run. They were so close to winning yesterday that if you believe that you could have rewritten history and just undid those 3 minutes, 3-1 in the last 4, if only. Back in that tie for playoff position if you imagine the rest of the results go ways you might expect.
But that's League, right?
Got that chance.
It's about those small interactions. It's about those important moments in the game, and you don't get them back. But Clutch certainly doesn't need this one back here today.
Nope.
Very dominant performance. Really creative draft, I think, utilizing a potential triple flex. The Cassio, the Yasuo, and the Aurelia really could have gone to any of those lanes, and I think it worked out very, very well for them.
And I like Huni on mages. His Karma yesterday, he slaughtered Someday in the 1v1. It wasn't close at all, and again, they probably should have won that game. He did great up here as well. A single gank came through from Lyra. They got the 2v1 a bit early, and then solo kill in the top lane, first turret, 1v3 in the bot lane through a Jarvan gank later on. Huni is going back to Huni of old. Spring Split Huni last year was his level of player. Huni Summer last year was doing really, really badly. And up until now, it felt weak as well. If Huni's back on form, I think that's a huge pillar for Clutch. Maybe they are on the way back up. 6 more to play, just barely outside of playoffs. Now to hear more about the victory, I'll be standing by with a little bit of Tanner time.
Thanks, Freak. Ooh, Tanner time. Demante, congratulations on the win. Another clean game for Clutch Gaming. Now, it was funny because last week we talked to Huni and Piglet said, you know, as long as they don't ban Irelia, it's going to be an easy win. And Huni said, as long as you guys can keep the other team guessing with some of your flex picks, you guys are just going to wipe. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you saw today, we basically had 3 flex picks again. We had Cassio, Yasuo, and Aurelia. And I mean, no one really knows where they're gonna go, and all 3 of those champions can pretty much win any lane. So it's pretty hard to play against that in general. So yeah, I mean, our drafts are really good.
So we were talking before the interview started. We almost had a perfect game today, but you dropped a kill. But yesterday was the surprising game because it looked like Clutch Gaming was going to have a perfect game, and then you guys ended up losing. So how does the team bounce back from a game like that and enter Sunday feeling fresh?
I mean, honestly, everyone was pretty happy yesterday. I mean, not happy in the sense that, like, we played really well. Our scrims are going much better. We are showing on stage that we were like actually a good team. And I mean, we just made some blunders as a team. And I mean, we saw it today as well. Like we won the game pretty decisively. And yesterday we started out the game pretty decisively. And it feels like it's only really going to go up from here.
And it's good to hear that the team has the strong mentality coming in after that game, because you took the win today, but you guys still have a huge climb ahead of you, still at the bottom of the standings if you want to make playoffs. So how is the team going to take that feat on?
Well, I mean, the storyline would be insane if we do bring it back here, because I think we actually can't lose another game. I'm not too sure. And then there's also some weird stuff with like tiebreakers, since we went 0-2 to a couple of the bottom half teams as well. But I mean, we're going to go in trying our hardest every time, and if we make playoffs, we'll make playoffs, and we're going to do our best there. And if we don't, then, I mean, Summer Split is still good, and everyone is really happy that we're improving a lot. And yeah, I mean, we are a much better team than we were 3 weeks ago.
Well, really quick then, is there anything that you'd like to say to the Clutch Gaming fans who would love to see that happen?
Yeah, just keep supporting us. We had a couple of rough weeks. We're all really sorry, but shoot, our entire team is getting along really, really well now. And yeah, things are getting much better.
That is great to hear, Demonte. Thank you, and congratulations again on the win. And for everyone else, stick around, because right after the break, we're going to see 100 Thieves take on Golden Guardians.
Sure. That's a stun, though. He's going to go for some more attacks right there. 2v1 now inside the Cataclysm. Solo just running away. Huni's still on the chase, burning one flash. Here comes Piglet. They're going to find one. A knock-up for a second. The knockback. Aqua will still drop.
Yep. Second combo. Jammer, no flash. Jammer, no flash. Jammer, no flash. Kill Jammer. On Jammer. Yes, I watch. Okay, yes, I watch. Watch. No flash. No flash. No flash.
Running forward, is going to find a Jarvan. Here comes the rest of the squad. Huni flashing right away, gets out a true shot as well. And now the trade kill back on a Panda 1 for 0. Huni does the same thing though, and they're going to find 2. They get 3 kills already. 5v2, the chase is in. Panda's endangered, he's gone already. That's the ace.
Congrats, Kim. You got your own car with your own insurance.
No more driving that old hand-me-down.
Did you trade it in?
My parents handed it down to my little brother.
You ready?
Yeah. Surprise! No, not beige Betty. You guys can't do this to me, seriously?
My car is like a rite of passage.
How do you expect me to drive this?
Just turn the key and yeah, it's just
some of this.
It's automatic, dual cup holders.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.